can you explain how the effectiveness of this program and how successful it's been for at-risk youth?
Basically, our juvenile program, which is the Eagles Academy, has been very successful. We have 85% success rate working with those at-risk youth who are in the education system. And when we say 85%, basically
Yes.
8 of every 10 students that we deal with successfully re-enter the school system from the LEAD Institute, because they are first and foremost sent to LEAD because they are problematic within the school system. They matriculate through LEAD for at least a semester. Once they complete their treatment plan, once they complete the program services, and successfully, they are returned as productive citizens. And that's one of our success rates. Basically, I'm here as a guest of the department or the Office of the Director of Public Service, Public Prosecution here in TCI, and on the hosting of one of the Crown prosecutors, Clement Joseph. And therefore, I have met with many stakeholders, MAPA, the organization or the group that is going to work interagency to actually address issues for youngsters, address issues for the offender population. And so that is one of my reasons, being utilizing the expertise and the experiences that I've encountered over the last 7 years, specifically for LEAD, and over the last 20 years that I've encountered working in the area of social services, law enforcement, and youth work.
Yes, you've mentioned that. Well, my question is, sometimes, especially youth, at-risk youth, how are you able to gain their trust? Because, sometimes a lot of young people from coming out of prison, not having nowhere to go, and then they, there's a cycle going on where they enter right back into the prison. And, having an organization like the LEAD Institute where they're able to come in, gain self-confidence, gain their dignity back, their self-worth. And, sometimes they feel inferior. They feel inferior because of the way things has happened in their life, of the bad. So when they come back into society, we look at them like, we look down on them, we judge them. So they feel unworthy. So how are you able to gain their trust to help them?
Simple. Basically, to gain someone's trust, you have to create relationship.
Yes.
And that's the best and fastest way to gain the trust needed. And once you develop and establish a positive, productive relationship with those individuals, you're able to gain their trust. You're able to mentor them in the right direction. You're not preaching down to them. You're not shouting down to them. But you and those individuals are on the same ship. Like John Maxwell states, a rising tide raises all ship. So we make sure that their ship is on the water, our ship is on the water. So when the tide starts to rise, we all rise together. And that is how we are able to gain their trust, their respect. Through that process, the process in gaining their trust through the relationship aspect, we seek to help them find out 5 important questions of their life, or 5 areas of their life. First question is, who am I? Where am I from? What can I do? Why am I here? Where am I going? Those 5 important questions that we work with them deals with their identity. Who am I? Not who someone else say you are, but who God say you are.
Yes.
The second question is your heritage, where you come from. We are the sum total of all the decisions we have made in the past, our environment, our family background. We are the sum total of that. So therefore, that's the heritage. Why am I here? That's your purpose. A lot of us don't know our purpose in life, and therefore we go living a purposeless life. Okay? The next question we drill into them and we seek them to help find is, what is your potential? What can you do? That's your potential.
Yes.
And each and every one of us is a leader of some form of gifting, And what we try to do is not what we try, but what we do. We pull the different giftings out of each and every individual we come in contact with through our programs and our services. The last one is, where are you going? And that's your destiny. And your destiny is tied up in your purpose.
Yes.
Your destiny is tied up in your heritage. Your destiny is tied up in your potential. Your destiny is tied up in your identity. So therefore, we believe that in every seed there is a forest.
Amen.
In every seed there is a forest, not just a tree.
Yes.
A lot of times persons come to us with just a seed.
Yes.
And we try to ask them, what do you have in your hand? And some say, okay, I have a connect seed. I have a pigeon plum seed. I have a guava seed. But actually, all they're saying is a seed. So we try to help them realize that actually in their hand is a forest of oranges, apples, pears, connects, and so forth.
And bringing all of the beauty out of them. So it's taking them from bondage into greatness.
Most
That's
definitely.
basically what you're
Most
saying.
definitely.
Yes, because I remember seeing a book that you had called Escaping Your Prison. Is that the name of the
Yes.
book?
How to Escape Your Prison.
How to Escape Your Prison.
It's a workbook.
Yes. So is that the book that you use to help train and bring the best out of
That is
the at-risk youth?
That is one of the books that we use to work with not only the at-risk or the juvenile offender, but the adult offenders. And
Awesome.
How to Escape Your Prison is actually MRT, and MRT is Moral Recognition Therapy.
Yes.
And you would ask, what is moral recognition therapy? Moral recognition therapy is a systemic cognitive behavioral step-by-step treatment strategy designed to enhance self-image, promote growth of a positive, productive identity, and facilitate the development of higher stages of moral reasoning. Basically, all moral reasoning does is assist the individual of making better sound decisions.
Yes.
A lot of times we go to the church and preachers preach at us and people preach at us
Yes.
and look at our head with the Bible over our head, but they never tell us how to live. They tell us stop from having sex, stop from sinning, stop from doing this, but they never show us how to do it.
How?
So basically what we show is step by step how we could get out of our issues by making right decisions. Remember, I stated up front, we do not decide our future, because a lot of times say, yes, you have the future, you decide your future, but we teach our people, you do not decide your future, because nobody ever wake up one day and said, I want to be an armed robber, or I want to have AIDS, or I want to be a drug addict,
Yes.
or I want to be an inmate.
Yes.
What happens is that they create habits, and as a result, their habits create the future they're now seeing. So we help them to make sound decision, moving away from the old habits, and the decision making process is on a higher level, not on the lowest level of the spectrum, which is pleasure versus pain. But we want to move them to the highest level, which actually deals with choosing moral goal. That's the
goals, yes.
normal area that we
Yes.
have Martin Luther King, those kind of people who operated on that level, where they look out for society over their own selfish ambition.
Yes, I know it's a joy for you to see young people, even adults, come up out of the bondage mentally, socially, and to become what God has ordained them to become. And what are your experiences, when you seeing them from where they at and watching them rise to, that eagle, like you said, you have the Eagles Academy. So watching them rise from a state of prison in their mind and taking them from that place into liberty. How do you feel about that? I want to know, how do you feel?
Well,
I know it's a joyful feeling, but how looking at one of your patients, what are their words? What do they say? Like looking back, Mr. Clark, what are their words when they realize, wow, I didn't know I could have done this? Because there are some people right now, Mr. Clark, today, even at-risk youth that I work with, that I mentor, some of them tell me, Minister Cutella, if it hadn't been for you to talk to me, I would have done this. If it hadn't been for you to speak to me and come look for me, I would have gone and do this. So by you just forming this vision, and God give you the vision, you just pick up the vision and run with it, and having Dr. Miles Monroe as a mentor to help you push to where you need to go. I just want you to say to our audience and our listeners out there, what is your experience and what are the experience of your patients? You know, I know they might say they have some regrets, but what is that experience like? Tell us.
Well, basically, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question you have there. The experiences that I encounter, and for me, is to see someone who was failing,
Yes.
someone who has fallen down and got back up, and now turn their life around and moving in the direction of a productive, law-abiding citizen.
Yes.
That gives me an overwhelming feeling of gratitude, because I realize that I've helped one person, and as a result of helping one person, you know, I felt, you know, that I've accomplished something.
Yes.
And they don't have to come back to tell me anything, as long as they continue on that same path. So it's a feeling of satisfaction and immense gratitude.
Yes. So in this program for at-risk youth, even males, my question is, how do they transition back into the workforce, job market? Do they get, because, you know, sometimes they can do the program, but they have to eat. So they're wondering, how do I get a job? You know, how, you know, I have a police record. How do I get a job? How is, you know, some of your youths or even males, do they get jobs or and enter back into the workforce?
Well, basically, LEAD serves as an organization that leverage the playing field for these individuals who have gone afoul of the law, who have gone awry of societal norms, values. And what we do is that we serve as a bridge from the inside of the correctional facility
Yes.
to the outside. And we leverage the playing field. We don't ask any employer to show more favor on the person because they have a criminal record. What we do is that we ask them to give them a chance based on the success that they have had through our program over the number of years. And we will advise the employers that what we will do is mentor these individuals as they go through the transition of the job.
Yes.
And we provide the aftercare follow-up for these individuals as they matriculate through the job market so that they can become steady. Also, what we do is we re-educate the employment community in how to deal with somebody who's coming or transitioning from a prison confined into the normal routine. And so basically it's a collaborative effort on behalf of the LEAD Institute and other stakeholders within the community, as long as the governmental, as well as the governmental agencies.
So it's a collective group of people that has to come together in order for the individual to be successful.
Yes, most definitely.
Yes, so and that is so important. That is why we need each other, and that is why unity is so important. In any nation. So we have to come together so that we can help our young people and help male and female. What differentiates your organization from another organization in the Bahamas and also in Raleigh?
Well, basically, the organization in the Bahamas, the National Lead Institute, is a 501c3 tax-exempt organization registered in the state of North Carolina. And that distinguishes from many other smaller organizations like us. Also, we are a community correctional organization within the Bahamas and the Caribbean. And I'm safe to say you don't have any organization throughout the Caribbean that is community correctional with depth such as our organization, with experts, not only from the Bahamas, but from Dominica, St. Lucia, Cayman Islands, Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, the U.S., Canada. We have a cadre of experts and professionals that are our trainers and our speakers for our
Yes.
Caribbean Correctional Training Program. And that's one thing I failed to mention earlier in this deliberation, and that was one of our for-profit companies that we have established, and that was for the sole purpose of training Caribbean professionals in the criminal justice system, those who work with youth offenders and adult offenders, those who work with young people as such, those who work in prison ministry. We have established the Caribbean Correctional Training Institute, which is a training conference that equips and prepares professionals for evidence-based practices, research-driven programs, so that they can take back to their various communities throughout the Caribbean, so that we can see at the end of the day, result-driven or actually recidivism declining and crime reduction and productiveness in their communities.
How has the LEAD Institute defined the problems it is trying to solve? How do you identify the problems in males and youth? How do you identify it so that you can get that, the benchmark?
It's almost a hard question, but it's easy. How to lead? Basically, first and foremost, there's an assessment in the various communities that we conduct.
Okay.
And once we do an assessment in those various communities, we find out their needs, and then we find out how those communities can address those needs. And then what we do is we work with stakeholders within the various communities to come up with a viable plan in implementing the solution to those needs. And that is how we are able to address those concerns, those problems, and those challenges that are faced in the various communities, because we don't take one cap fits all in every community. We specifically look at each and every community. We do surveys. We analyze our data that is collected, and we implement strategies from those research. Okay.
It's awesome. Mr. Clark, can you tell us some of the external supporters that supports the LEAD Institute, like some of your biggest supporters?
Well, some of our biggest supporters for the National LEAD Institute is the United States Embassy, which more specifically the INL, which is International Law Enforcement Division of the U.S. Embassy, the Templeton Foundation, Life Foundation, Cable Cares Foundation, Commonwealth Bank, Royal Bank, Chancellor's Chambers, Real Men's Ministry, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Colombo Plan, which is out of Sri Lanka, is the Colombo Plan International Center for Credential and Education of Addiction Professionals, Bahamas Faith Ministries International, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, Correctional Counseling Incorporated in Germantown, Tennessee. They are network supporters who either support us in in-kind donation, technical support, and in many instances, financial support.
Yes, you also mentioned that you have 3 powerful programs, the Project Reentry, Life Management Male Empowerment Program, and also the Eagles Academy. Can you tell us more about the Eagles Academy?
Yes, and as I stated earlier,
Yes.
the Eagles Academy is an alternative school for juvenile offenders, at-risk males within the educational system. What happens is that they are sent from the public school system, and as a result of sending from the public school system, what happens is that they come into the program with a referral through the guidance department. Once they get into the program, they matriculate it through the program. They're given foundational areas: English, math, civics, family life, as well as MRT, which is a cognitive behavioral treatment.
Yes.
And once they, like I stated before, they pass out of the program, then they are referred back into the school system with a positive referral, and therefore we do follow-ups after they return to the school system, so that in the case of any relapses or any recidivism of their behavior.
Also, the parents, because the parents has to be involved in the children's life, especially when they're getting expelled from school. How has the Lead Institute successfully trained their parents to be involved into the youth's life so that the problem won't reoccur, because you need parents' participation?
Well, how that happens is that every student that participate within our program, their parents must attend parenting program with the national parenting program that is spearheaded with social services and also our parents academy. Once they complete their sessions and the child complete their sessions, then the child can graduate from our program.
Yes.
It is very important for parents to be a part of the treatment process, because you cannot treat the individual child and their environment is not treated, because you cannot take a supposedly changed child, put back in that same environment, and as a result it'll be contaminated again. So you want the child and the parents and the family. So it is not only the child, it's not only the parents, but it's actually the family. So we do family groups, parents groups, and the individual client, which will be the child.
Yes. So how has the feedback from the parents been, and the cooperation to help the child successfully succeed in life? And also, I believe that the program has some sort of effect and impact on the parents.
Well, at first, some of the parents are kind of reluctant, but they want their child to graduate from high school. They want the best for their child, and they realize that they may have fallen down, and in some cases they might not have fallen down, but they can use the additional skills to raise their child in this environment today. And so for the most part, they are receptive. And those who are reluctant, once they come into the program within the first few weeks, they say, boy, thank God I came into this program, because if it was not for this program, I would not have been able to deal with Marco, Peter, or John. Okay?
Mr. Clark, the thing is, working with at-risk youth, I find that sometimes when they're expelled from school, that's it. They don't have nowhere else to go. So what measures you think that the government of the Turks and Caicos Islands should take going forward right now?
Well, one of the things that needs to happen is that there needs to be a concerted effort by all stakeholders, not only the government, the church, and the community has to come together to put a viable plan in place to address the concerns and the needs of what's going on in TCI. Nobody from the outside can come in and tell you what needs to happen. What has to happen is that you have the solution right here.
Yes.
We from the outside can only come in and help facilitate you bringing forth that solution to bear and share with you our experiences and how it was successful in our jurisdiction, but the answers lies within the communities of TCI.
That's awesome. You also mentioned that you have training coming up in October, I think it is. Can you elaborate more on that for our listeners?
I'm so excited. Basically, that's a workshop called MRT Facilitators Training, and that is on October 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. 4 days, 32 hours, and it's 32 credit educational units, actually, with the University of Louisiana at Shreveport, and that prepares individuals. If you work with substance users, you work as a guidance counselor, you're a teacher, you're a pastor, you will want to come to this workshop that is being held in the Bahamas, and this is a part of one of our initiatives of Caribbean Correctional Training, equipping stakeholders with the necessary evidence-based tools and practices. You can check out our information on our website at www.thenationalleadinstitute.org, and you can find the information there, and you can contact us through that website.
So you mentioned that addiction professionals, church leaders, youth leaders, guidance counselors, teachers, parole officers, probation officers, social workers, all can come to this AMRT certified training to get certified in dealing with youth and dealing with social workers, different things.
Yes, most
Yes.
definitely. And they're the ones who usually work with this population. And so basically, we would want these and any other interested
Yes.
individual. The cost of that training is actually $500. Lunch is included. And basically, you get all of your materials that comes out of Tennessee that we work along with. And the program is actually designed for the Caribbean professional.
Awesome. That is awesome. Well, Turks and Caicos, Troy Atwood Clark here. I want to give God thanks for him coming in and explaining to us and giving us something that we can grab a hold of and run with, which is the vision. And I just want to say thanks for coming in and sharing with us. Is there anything else that you want to say to Turks and Caicos Islands?
Well, basically, this is a beautiful place to be. This is
course it
paradise. And if we want to remain, if we want this to remain paradise and growing in grace, I would suggest for all of you to get together, form a coalition,
Yes.
and work on the solutions that you have in your various community, because it takes a village to raise an effective male man. It takes a village to raise a child. So
Yes.
we, the village, we have to be equipped and we have to be prepared so that we can actually raise that child. In closing, all men fall, but the great ones get back up. You do not drown by falling into the water. You drown by staying there. You do not decide your future.
Yes.
You decide your habits. And your habits decide your future.
Well, Turks and Caicos, I give God glory once again for everything that he has done, what he's about to do. And I just want to thank him for Mr. Troy Atwood Clark coming here from the Lead Institute. It's a community correctional organization building strong nations, one community at a time. And I believe that he has done that. You also mentioned that you're taking the Lead Institute will be held in the Cayman Islands also, right?
Yes, we're
next
looking,
year.
we're looking to have, actually, that's Caribbean Correctional Training.
Okay.
That's arm of the National Aid Institute.
Okay.
That's our conference
Okay.
that is held every year. And this year we are taking it down to the Cayman Islands. So we encourage all stakeholders, all persons interested in reduction of crime in their various communities, police officers, probation officers, church leaders, youth workers. You want to attend Caribbean Correctional Training Conference 2017.
Okay.
Next year, June 26th to the 30th of, next year, June, right.
I know you said that Clement Joseph, he was one of your speakers last year,
Along with
Dr.
Dr.
Prince. And
Right.
Dr. Prince is very well known in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and also Clement Joseph. So that's really awesome. Coming up next week and is Summer Bashment. I repeat, Summer Bashment will be held next week, Friday night, at Community Fellowship Center. That's Pastor Bradley Henfield's church. And it starts at 7:30 p.m. International artists coming in from Nassau, Bahamas, Lyrically Blessed, Najee Dunn, Johnny B, a few other people. Also, we have Dariel, local artist Dariel, also international recording artist Camille Gardner, our very own Turks and Caicos' very own Camille Gardner. He will be opening up the Fearless and Fearless Praise. We have Angel Taylor, and of course myself. So Summer Bashment will be next week's Friday, September 23rd, and also in Grand Turk, September 24th at Salem Baptist Church. So I am looking forward to seeing all of our young people, all of the family unit, our government, our community, our neighborhoods come together. Let's start this movement. So come on out to Summer Bashment next week, Friday and Saturday. Thank you so much. I just want to say Be safe out there on the road. Be safe in what you do. Remember, I may not see you, but God is watching you. Troy, can you say that quote one more time? You fall by what?
All men fall, but the great ones get back up. You do not drown by falling into the water. You drown by staying there. I do not decide my future. I decide my habits. And my habits decide my future. Whoop! That's what the guys on me say. Okay?
Well, my habits decide my future. Amen for that. Let your habits decide your future. Have a blessed day, Turks and Caicos. Tune in to the Empowerment Hour next week, Thursday, 10 a.m. See you there.
Cutella Talbot, and I'm excited and looking forward to Star Productions' second annual Summer Bashment under the theme I Am the Key. This event is about positivity, love, unity, community spirit, and of course empowerment of our young people and empowerment of the family unit. Summer Bashment will be held in 2 locations: on Friday night, September 23rd at Community Fellowship Center, and in Grand Turk on September 24th at Salem Baptist Church. I'm looking forward to seeing our government, our young people, our family unit, and of course our community all come out to support Summer Bashment. Thank you.
I'm here with the beautiful next generation, and I want to encourage each and every one of you to come out to Summer Bashment. And look who's here, our golden boy, Delano.
Yes, guys. Support them, guys. Support it. It's for the youth. I mean, you know, everything in the Turks and Caicos, they speak about them, so you just have to support it, guys. Support the Bashment there. I might even be there.
Star Productions presents its second annual Youth and Family Summer Bashment under the theme I Am the Key on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. at the Community Fellowship Center Church on Leewood Highway, featuring international artists from Nassau, Bahamas, lyrically led Iman, Johnny B, and Nat G. Dunn.
I'm a praise your G, I don't